Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eva and I am a millennial who loves all things makeup and skincare. Today we have a first impressions of the brand new Lawless The One eyeshadow palette in the limited edition shade Lavender. Now I just got this palette today. It came out yesterday. Big shout out to Sephora, same day delivery. And we are going to go ahead and dive in. I'm going to do a makeup look using this beautiful palette, and then at the end I'll wrap up, give my thoughts. A little bit more about this palette. This palette retails for $27 and it includes 8 shades. These are the shades of the palette. We have some really pretty like pastel purpley shades. We have 3 shimmers, and then we have 3 matte, more nude shades. As someone who tends to wear a lot of the same eye looks, a lot of neutrals, I'm trying to push myself more and use fun colors. I have a ton of colored eyeshadow palettes, but I still consider myself a beginner when it comes to eyeshadow. So let's see if we can get a wearable look out of this palette. I've already primed my eyes using the Sephora collection Boost and Lock eyeshadow primer. This I picked up, I want to say maybe during one of the Sephora sales when the Sephora collection items were 30% off, and I really like it. We are going to start off going into this shade here called Rosewater. I'm going to take a fluffy brush and buff that into the crease. I'm going in with my Rèphr 16 brush. Ooh. Okay, a lot of kick up so far. So this is something where you will definitely want to tap your brush off. You can, I don't know if you can see, but there's a ton of powder coming up. Okay, let's apply. So I'm not really getting much pigment like at all from this shade on my lid. But I am using a very fluffy brush, so I will switch over to using a denser brush to see if picking up more of the product will make more of an impact. Okay, I actually take that back. This is a really nice just like wash of light pink across the crease. I don't think I need to go in with a denser brush because this is kind of going to be used as my transition shade. Now that I have that shade in my crease, I want to go over my entire lid with one of these purple colors. It's a little bit daunting, but purples are really hard to formulate, and a great way to understand the quality of a palette is to play with those more difficult colors. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this bright purple shade here, and this shade is called Lavender. And I'm going in with my Spectrum Katie Jane Hughes 15 brush. Now this one doesn't have as much kick up as that other shade, but definitely pretty powdery. But that's not something that really bothers me. We'll see how it actually applies and if it falls all over my face. So I'm just going in and patting motions, trying to build up that pigment. I'm very surprised by how pigmented this purple shadow is. Let me zoom you in a little bit more so you can see that it's really applying beautifully. It's not patchy. I find that a lot of purple shadows are patchy, but this one, so far so good. I'm going to go in on the other eye now. Okay, I'm pleasantly surprised so far. I am digging this. I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because I have quite a few other Lawless palettes and I really like their shadow formulations. They are a clean brand, which I don't really care about. Like, I'm not into clean makeup. I'm about if the product is good quality. And I've found that their eyeshadows perform really well, and I can't say that for all clean eyeshadow brands. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I want to continue to build up that pigment. I am getting a lot of fallout on my face. I am getting a lot of that purple fallout, so if you do purchase this palette, You will want to apply your concealer and your base after using the eyeshadows. Okay, I am digging this purple. It is kind of silly that I applied a transition shade because I'm not really doing a lot of blending, but we're winging it. Next, I want to play with this other purple shade. This shade is called Orchid, and I want to apply that in the crease to create a little bit more dimension. I want to be more precise with this application, so I'm going in with the Rèphr 14 brush, which has a nice tapered blend to it. Ooh, a lot of kick up for that Orchid shade. Okay, this Orchid shade is also applying really beautifully. It's not patchy. I'm very, very pleased. I'm digging this. Okay, now I need to blend some of this out. This is really not my strong suit. Like blending, my eye looks tend to be pretty messy. I am gonna go in with one of my favorite brushes, which is the Sephora collection Pro Crease 19 brush. And I am just doing wind wiper motions in that crease to start to kind of blend out those two purpley shades. Something I'm really trying to work on, like one of my makeup resolutions for this year, is getting better at blending and also getting better at like figuring out what shape I want to blend my eyeshadow into. That and perfecting liquid liner. Those are two of many makeup resolutions I have this year. So Orchid and Lavender blended together really nicely. I did swatch the palette prior to filming this video, so I will insert swatches right here. I really like an all matte look, and I probably would be almost done if this were just like a look I was doing for every day, but I do want to test out some of these shimmers. When I swatched this palette before filming, I was disappointed in the pigmentation of the shade Pink Salt, but swatches are not representative always of how a product will wear on your eyes, so I do want to go in with that Pink Salt shade in the inner corner and then pick another one of these shimmer shades for more of the outer corner. I'm gonna go in with the shade Pink Salt on my inner corner. For shimmers, I like to apply with my finger or with a dampened brush. Okay, this is a topper shade. This is not a true shimmer shade. It's a pretty topper, but it's not what I was hoping for. It wears on the eye the exact same that it swatched. I was hoping maybe I just had a bad swatch, but this shade is a little disappointing. It is pretty, but this is nothing like to write home about. So that I don't end up with two different eyes, I am gonna go ahead and apply this to my other eye, and then we'll test out one of these other shimmers. It does give pretty dimension to the eye, but this probably isn't a shade I'll voluntarily use again. Let's test out one of these other shimmer shades. Let's use the shade Rosé. Again, I'm gonna go in with my finger. This time I'm actually gonna use my pinky so that I can be more precise with the application. Ooh, that's nice and creamy. I'm gonna apply this to my outer lid. I am getting some fallout with the shimmer shades as well. So regretting doing my concealer prior to application. Rosé, I would argue, is also more of a topper shade as opposed to like a full-blown metallic eyeshadow. I am gonna go in with the final shimmer shade, Praline. I'm gonna put that just right in my outer corner and blend to see if this one gives a little bit more pop. So I've now added all 3 shimmer shades to my eyes. They're pretty, and I like the way the look is looking, but I don't think the shimmer shades are anything special. There was a lot of fallout. They were barely there. I am coming from a perspective of someone who has fallen in love with indie shadows, particularly indie shimmer shades. So I'm extra picky and critical of shimmer shades lately because I've been exposed to so many amazing brands, and shimmers are hard to impress me these days. I'm doing the lazy technique of taking a makeup wipe and cleaning up the edges. I don't get too stressed about perfecting my eye looks, probably because I'm on Zoom most of the time and I, rarely leave my house. To finish the look, I want to go in with a fluffy brush. Let's do the Sigma Detail Pencil brush. And I'm going to go in with this darker purple shade and kind of blow that out under the lower lash line. Now that I'm looking up close, I'm actually getting more and more annoyed with the amount of fallout. Sometimes fallout doesn't bother me, but it's really bothering me right now. There's a ton of fallout. Oh, okay, I'm actually annoyed. To finish the eye look, I'm gonna go in with the Lawless The One and Done Mascara. I've been using this for the past month and I really have been liking this mascara. I'm confused why more people don't talk about it. Something I really like about it is the brush head is very flexible. So like when you're applying the lashes, as you can see here, it bends. I don't know why I like that, but it's a good mascara. I went ahead and applied this darker shade Blackberry in my outer corner just to deepen it up a little bit. Now it's time for overall thoughts. This palette reminds me a lot of the red carpet on Sunday at the Oscars. I wanted to love the dresses. I wanted to force myself to like the fact that everyone is wearing weird see-through dresses that show their panties, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I really want to love it. And I really do love 2 of the shades. I love these 2 purple shades and I love this matte shade here. I did actually swatch this one off camera and it's really pretty, and this is the shade Praline. However, I cannot justify a palette for just 2 shades, even if it's $27, which is quite affordable for a palette at Sephora, but I can't do it. I want to, but I can't. I will keep playing with this palette to see if it grows on me and to see if maybe I was just using it incorrectly, but because this is a first impression video, I'm not going to be able to say I recommend it. Now, instead of the Lawless palette, I'm actually going to recommend this Colourpop guy. You can get this in a Daze palette at Target for $14. It's not an identical palette, right? This one actually has a lot of neutrals and is technically more wearable, but the 2 best things about this palette are those 2 purple shades, and you can get similar shades in this palette. Pick up this palette for $14 from Target and incorporate a neutral palette that you probably already have, and you'll be able to get a similar look. That wraps up the first impression review of the Lawless Lavender palette. If you are new here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I am new to YouTube and it does really help my channel. I'll be back later this week with another Ulta 21 Days of Beauty video, as well as maybe a blush swatch video of the Danessa Myricks blushes. It's been on my list to film that for a while. Let me know in the comments below if you are planning on picking up this Lawless eyeshadow palette or if you have ever tried the brand.